you ready? Ready. Ready.
Yes, I am very much ready. Shoot.
International Women's Day reminds me of the great women in my life. It helps me to stop and reflect and think about all that they've achieved and what they've done to provide for me in my life. So it's a day for me to pause and acknowledge them.
For me, it means a day where sort of I reflect on from where have I started and where are we going. It's a day to contemplate what are we doing, where have we reached, especially in relation to gender equality.
For me, it sort of makes me think about how I am one in many that wants to see this goal of gender equality one day realized. But it also makes me think about if there's anything that I'm doing or perhaps not doing that's, contributing to the lack of progress that we have so far.
To me, I think International Women's Day basically kind of a reminder that we have achieved a lot as women in this world, but it also simultaneously kind of a reminder to say that there's a long way to go.
Why shouldn't we? We have come really long way and we have got a long way to go wherever we want to achieve, whatever we want to achieve. So we should definitely care about International Women's Day and celebrate being women and what struggle we have experienced and how long we have to go.
It raises us above from our immediate individual experiences and gets us to realize that we are in this together, and regardless of where we are from, there is something we can do about it.
I think it's still really important to look at women's health and access to health, and also financial issues for women. There's still a really poor understanding of what the gender pay gap actually means, and it is a complex thing. So it could help with that, perhaps.
We should care about International Women's Day because this is the one day of the year that everyone reflects on how much women have achieved over the years and what steps we need to take in order to make the world a better place for future generations in terms of gender equality and women's rights.
It definitely empower women because empower women can influence or bring their experience to actually help the younger women or the younger generation to dream to go to the higher success. So for me, I believe it does empower women.
In some ways, it does provide a touch point for women to come together and check in with each other and talk about issues like on a shared platform. So, and it brings the visibility to women's cause, even though it should be visible every day of the year.
What I think is that it brings the attention on the issue, the gender inequality that is going on, like everyone's experiences.
Depending on the way you look at things, as with everything in life, you can assign things a positive or a negative value. To me, it's a really positive thing, but I can see how to others it might be hindering in the fact that there's now more expectations placed on women.
In other places, it is also hindering the cause, as International Women's Day has also become a lot about the show of influence and power in certain spaces, and it sort of reiterates and perpetuates the differences, and in that sense it does hinder the empowerment of women.
It doesn't hinder it in any way.
No.
It's definitely, I think we shouldn't lose sight of why it's there. And it's not just for women to reflect on. That's the other thing. It's not just a day where women get together and think about their own issues. It's a societal thing, it's an economical thing. It's for the population in general to go, okay, how can we make this better? So it's not one individual segment's responsibility.
Exactly, there are many ways, and we should be actually doing that, because that is the future I want. That we don't have one Women's Day, we don't need to celebrate Women's Day, because every day is an equal day for a woman. She wakes up, she knows that she has a space in this society. She can move with dignity, respect, and safety. She does not have to worry in comparison to a man in her society.
We should celebrate women by acknowledging the contributions they make to the world and to their homes and families and their communities every single day. We should celebrate women by giving them their due rights in every single day, everyday life.
Women's work should be recognized every single day, in everywhere, not only at work, also at home. So I believe like it should celebrate every day.
We can do something memorable that will leave a mark in our community.
I guess it's that idea that you shouldn't need a day or a way to celebrate. It's just, we should move to a place where women and men just are, and gender isn't such a huge divider of people, for it to become just less important in our lives.
The celebration starts from within. So being a woman, what I'm doing for myself, for my family, for my colleague, that's where the celebration begins, that yes, I am important, and also celebrating the women in our lives who has positively impacted to go for our dreams.
I think historically it's always been men have always had more of an advantage over women. So I think it's very important to recognize that there is a need for empowerment of women. And I'd like to say to women that you can achieve anything that you put your mind to.
We also recognize the women and men's empowerment together. It's not an individualistic practice.
As soon as you start talking about women, a bunch of men will get up saying, what about us? And you know, that kind of, it's a really unhelpful argument. The whataboutism is just such a pain in these kind of circumstances.
I don't think you can ignore the fact that, you know, fighting for gender equality from a woman's point of view will actually set precedents, and it might make it easier to fight for equality for wherever men's equality is lacking. So I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I think that they could actually help each other.
Better progress, not talk about the same issues that we're talking about today. So, 20, 30 years from now, when my daughter is possibly having the same conversation, she's not banging on about the same topics that we've banged on for the last 20 years.
I would really hope to see International Women's Days becoming less corporate, less consumerist like all of the other commercial days.
It'd be great if it wasn't getting enveloped by commercialism and becoming another Mother's Day, just a greeting card kind of event. I think it's actually much more important than that in a lot of ways.
I want to see actually that people are respecting women, people are encouraging them.
You know what? I want that we don't have to have International Women's Day. We really have to see goals being achieved. We need to see women in leadership positions. We need to see that the violence against women exists no more.
I'm hoping that in the future we would have got to a point where we actually won't need to have an International Women's Day. I'm hoping then it's the norm that women's achievements are viewed the same as men's, and it won't be necessary to actually have a day specifically focusing on women.
Women being 50% of the population everywhere, it matters.
I still think it matters because it does refocus attention. And then I guess it's a question of what do we do with it?
I think International Women's Day matters a great deal.
Yeah, for sure. It does.
Yes, I think it does.
Yeah, definitely it matters. It matters.
It definitely does.
Absolutely, yes. It does matter a lot.